A person without knowledge of past history and culture, it's like a tree without its roots.
We are not makers of history. We are made by history.
History is like a crown that needs to be passed.
A generation which ignores history has no past and future.
We are not the makers of history. We are made by history.
History doesn't change the past, but likely it changed the future.
The more you know about the past, the better prepared you are for the future.
Tarlac State University has one main campus and two satellite campuses within the vicinity of Tarlac City, and we're going to talk about the specific building here at the main campus. The College of Engineering and Technology building. The place where the College of Engineering and Technology building is located was the site of Casa Real of Tarlac, which once became an office of the late President Emilio Aguinaldo during the Philippine-American War. It is now recognized as a historical site by the National Historical Commission of the Philippines. The Científico-Literaria Universidad de Filipinas en Tarlac was the first state in the university in the Asia founded by the Philippine Revolutionary Government in the October 18, 1898 in Malolos, Bulacan. It was then transferred to the Tarlac province together with the whole Aguinaldo government when Malolos fell to the Americans and the school had to close down. The Universidad, together with Burgos Institute, was re-established in Tarlac. The Tarlac Convent beside the San Sebastian Roman Catholic Convent, now the San Sebastian Cathedral, was used at the school building. Its first and last graduation was held at the cathedral in September 29, 1899. The diplomas of the graduates were personally signed by Aguinaldo, who was the university president back then.
Have you ever heard of Casa de Segunda? Well, Casa de Segunda was a house built 1862 to 1863, so it actually did take a year to build this house, and it was not shocking because it is said that this house was a handmade because there were no machinery before. It is one of the houses built by Don Roberto Calao Katigbak, and he was married to Doña Hostia Mitra de San Miguel Solis. Katigbak family were one of the prolific family in the province, attributing part of their wealth to the coffee industry and being one of the major business ventures before.
Years passed, the house was soon gifted to their daughter, Doña Segunda Katigbak, aka Dr. Jose Rizal's first love. Casa de Segunda, also known as Luz Katigbak House, was eventually declared a National Heritage House Museum by the National Historic Institute in year 1956 after it was repaired by Maria Paz Luz de Mayuga, one of Segunda's siblings. The family of Don Manuel Metra Luz and Doña Segunda Solis Katigbak had a total of 14 children, but sad to say, only 9 survived to matured age. Casa de Segunda is now known as a Heritage House Museum located along Rizal Street, Lipa City, Batangas.
Mactan Shrine is one of the historical places in the Philippines that was located at Mactan Island from the city of Cebu. The Lapu-Lapu Monument is a 20-meter bronze statue and was built to honor the native leader Datu Lapu-Lapu. He is holding a shield and a kampilan or sword in his hand. In some written historical articles, Lapu-Lapu was known to be a Muslim and a Tausug and was also known as Kalip Tulaka. It was said to be the exact place where the battle between Ferdinand Magellan, a Portuguese explorer, and island chieftain Lapu-Lapu happened. Ferdinand Magellan had been successful in bringing the Christianity to the people of Cebu. From there, he also crossed the sea to reach Mactan Island and hoped to spread the Christianity faith in the area. But, before reaching the shore, Magellan was killed. along with his Christian soldiers, with the Mactan Island chieftain Lapu-Lapu, who led his men, armed with spears, swords, and shields for the Battle of Supremacy and Freedom on April 27, 1521. The battle was later recognized as the historic Battle of Mactan. According to Pigafetta, several of Magellan's men were killed in the battle, and a number of natives converted to Catholicism who had come to their aid were immediately killed by the warriors. Magellan's islands, Humaban and Zula, were not to have taken part in the battle due to Magellan's riding, and they watched from a distance. When the body of Magellan was recovered by the warriors, Humabon ordered him to return the body of Magellan, and some of his crew were killed, and they were given as much merchandise as they wished, but Lapu-Lapu refused.
In 1986, the Philippines received a worldwide praise when a bloodless revolution erupted. This happened along the Epifanio de los Santos Avenue, or simply known as EDSA, from the 22nd to 25th of February 1986.
The so-called EDSA People Power Revolution.
Gus Biclat stated that when we talk about the so-called EDSA People Power Revolution, we just are not talking about those 4 days. For so long, the Philippines was milled in deep in inequality, poverty, and misery. The Filipino really struggled with President Marcos, so when there was a chance to depose him and an opportunity to change the society, everyone participated. The EDSA People Power Revolution in 1986 was several days of non-violent revolution, uprising that ended the Marcos term. It was there almost 3 million Filipinos gathered along EDSA in Metro Manila to demand an end on the oppressive rule in the Marcos dictatorship. It was massive, peaceful protest that was aiming for democracy in one of Asia's oldest democratic society. It had only in the EDSA happened the protest. Thousands of people in different places of the Philippines gathered to support the protest. It was a historic moment that inspired the world. The revolt commenced when Defense Minister Juan Ponce Enrile and the Armed Forces of the Philippines Vice Chief of Staff Lieutenant General Fidel Ramos withdrew their support from the government and called upon the resignation of then President Marcos.
There was a report that we are going to be arrested, all of us. There had been some anomalies committed during the election. As of now, I cannot in conscience recognize the President as the Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces.
The Archbishop of Manila, Jaime Cardinal Sin, made an announcement through Catholic radio station, the Radio Veritas, and urged the people to go to EDSA to support Minister Enrile and General Ramos.
I am calling our people to support our two good friends.
On February 22 in the year of 1986, the first day of historical event, the EDSA People Power became the power to eliminate the 2 decades dictatorship of Ferdinand Marcos in the way of peaceful protest. The people actively participate in the revolution to show a support and aiming of democracy. On February 23, Marcos loyalists go directly to the Radio Veritas, the one radio station that airs the historical event, and try to stop it. Eventually, Radio Veritas went off air when their transmitter was attacked by the military. Meanwhile, Radio Bandido or the Radio Rebel took over the broadcasting of the unfolding of the revolution and announced that Marcos was fled. On February 24, Enrile announced the leaving of Marcos in the Malacanang. Chief Fabian Ver, under Marcos administration, insisting to attack the camp of the revolutionaries, but Ferdinand Marcos not allowed him
Immediately,
to do.
Mr. President. That's why I come here on your orders, so we can immediately strike them.
And in the day of 25 in February, in the first time of the history, two presidents simultaneously swore for the country. Cory swore at the Club Filipino, while Marcos is in the Malacanang. In the evening of 25 in February, it's officially announced the leaving of Marcos in the Malacanang.
May international pressure kay Marcos na magkaroon ng halalan.
According to Xiao Chua, a historian, there was an international pressure for Marcos to hold an election and prove that he still has the support of the people, so as no presidential election was held. People are saying that Ninoy Aquino sparked the people power, but actually, his death was the only one of the events that led to what transpired in EDSA. But what really sparked the people power is the snap election. Opposition leader Ninoy Aquino assassinated in 1983. Ninoy's wife, Corazon Aquino, are Marcos' rival in the snap election.
That old soldiers never die. They just fade away.
He was a 5-star U.S. Army general, best known role in the Pacific Theater during World War II. General Douglas MacArthur. MacArthur claimed he learned ride and shoot before he can read and write. After graduating class to West Point, he sent Army Rex. He helped found 42 2nd Rainbow Division and fought France during World War I. He headed 1928 American Olympic Association, the Saudi American Amsterdam, the 7 world records. But he was World War II catapult of ambitious General Defeng. In December 1941, only hour on Pearl Harbor, the Japanese destroyed MacArthur Air Force in the Philippines, forcing him to retreat. In 1942, he escaped to Australia. He was wife and child both in petty boat, pronouncing his legendary vow, "I shall return." 2 years later, he did, launching a series successful operation and accepting Japan the official surrender in 1945. For 6 years to oversee the occupying forces, the eruption of fighting Korea led to MacArthur's appointment as a commander UN forces. The MacArthur created strategy succeeding in quelling North Korea regression of first, but he soon clashed public President Truman overextended Chinese potential involvement. Truman relieved MacArthur command and sent him home in United States. The popular general, he received heroes welcome after brief station politics. MacArthur became chairman aboard Remington Rand, which electrical equipment and business machine. He died in 1964 at age 1884 and buried in Virginia at monument in his name. Let's proceed the history behind MacArthur Highway.
Previously known as Highway 3 and Route 3 in early United States military record, 500 km, 26-lane National Primary Highway in Luzon, Philippines. It is the second longest road in the Philippines after Maharlika Highway. stretches from Bonifacio Monument in Caloocan to the northern province of Ilocos Norte, passing through three cities in Metro Manila, which is Caloocan, Malabon, and Valenzuela. Three provinces of Central Luzon, which is Bulacan, Pampanga, and Tarlac, and four provinces of Ilocos Norte, which is Pangasinan, La Union, Ilocos Sur, and Ilocos Norte. The entire road consists of series of the new route numbering system by the Department of Public Works and Highways. From Caloocan to Giginto, it is the component of the National Route 1, while the rest of the route up to Lawag is entirely designated the National Route 2 of the Philippine Highway Network. It is also a component of Railroad 9, or commonly referred to as R9, Manila's arterial road network. MacArthur Highway was built on sections beginning in 1928 during the American colonial period. It followed much of the route of the old Manila Railroad line from Manila to Dagupan. The highway eventually reaches the Ilocos provinces in the north and became known as the Manila North Road. On June 17, 1961, the section of Manila North Road between Manila and Pangasinan was renamed MacArthur Highway in honor of the liberator of the Philippines during World War II, General Douglas MacArthur.